Would Trump have fought Hitler? That's a question that just keeps coming to me by thousands of people around the world. And here's my answer to that. Let's think about how Hitler became Hitler. Hitler first invaded Austria, Czechoslovakia. He basically went into, a agreement with all the European nations after that. And then he invaded Poland. When he invaded Poland, England declared war on him, and other countries backed him up. And he had agreement with the Russians. Now, the interesting part about this short history lesson is this. He went into one country, they let him do it. He went into another country, they let him do it. But a third country was like, oh, wait a minute, you're not supposed to be doing that. And they fought him. But here's the thing I want you to remember and understand very clearly. That if they had been able to just stop him in his tracks in the first country, it may have made him step back. He still might have gone to war, but, he had a large force. But he would think twice. Bullies think twice. What people forget is this, very important, is that in order to prevent another world war of that kind, you have to go into just that, prevention. If you don't prevent, it becomes an all-out war, and it does affect America economically at the very least. Him doing invasions and movements and Trump thinking he could swing a deal is total bull. We all know that, except for Trump thinks he can just lie his way through that. What I'm trying to get you to understand that's so important is that Trump backed out of a deal he, on behalf of his nation, had agreed with Zelensky. Let me explain what that means. In essence, here's what happened. Back in 1991, there was something called a Budapest Agreement. And in that agreement, when the Soviet Union went down, all of the weapons were split up between a couple of countries, the nukes. And Ukraine was the third largest holder of nukes beyond USSR, the new Russia, and the United States. And both countries, along with the United Kingdom, made Ukraine agree to give up its nukes. Give them up to USSR and Russia and the US and UK, and would protect them. Well, the Russians went back on that when they invaded them 3 years ago. And America just went back on that by basically saying, grovel and kiss my butt because I'm Trump. And it is sad. It's a message. And you know who was in the room who knew that and didn't say a word? Marco Rubio. Because if you look up Marco Rubio on Ukraine, you have him saying this very story I just told you. He knew that if you do this, you're basically also going to send a message to the free world that develops their own nuclear programs. Why would they give up their program? Because Russia will turn their back and America will turn their back. My point here in all of this is this. Trump, because of his weakness and him never understanding what it really takes to lead this nation, is put us in a position to let Putin become the next Hitler. And as Putin becomes the next Hitler, he's going for the Ukraine, he's going for more countries that used to be Russian. He's going after Poland. He's definitely going after Poland, and Poland knows it. That's why they're requesting troops be brought to their border. It's on. It's on. And Trump's doing his whole back kiss my ego craziness is ridiculous. You know what happened when that discussion, that infamous discussion a couple of days ago happened, and the fallout with Zelensky and Trump and Vance? Trump went golfing. Vance went skiing. And Zelensky went back to a war zone where after that meeting, Ukraine was bombed more by Russia. It's on. It's on. It's about to be a world war. And don't think for 1 second that we're not going to get affected by that. America always gets affected by this. FDR knew it back in the day before World War II. That's why he was ready to go in case it went down, because he knew that it was going to come overseas. Not necessarily a war, but economically it would be destructive for Europe to be invaded. It would mess us up so bad economically. Cars, trade, money, finances would all be affected. The best thing we can hope for is that Turkey jumps in this, because Turkey has the largest force in Europe, and they can't stand the Russians. But that would require the European Union to allow Turkey to be part of the European Union, and they've been holding that back for years. Again, we have a fight here. I know we're dealing with something much deeper here, but as we're dealing with this, realize it's going to have a great effect on us from outward to in as well as within, as they go for all of our benefits: Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, Affordable Care Act, Veterans Benefits, SNAP. We're in a war, but we need to hang in there. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Darren Monroe Politics. This is where I get a chance to go into long form content in my playlist, talking about some of the craziest things like the election fraud. YouTube's the only one that let me talk about stuff like that. So check it out. Subscribe.